Hey everybody, Gonson Undercover here. Today is Sunday, January 5th, 2020. And it's an interesting story here reported on NJ.com. It reads, 18 charged with rioting after cops spit on, threatened during New Jersey melee, police say. Here it is, right there. We'll put the link to the story in the description. And I have read the story, so I'm going to read it to you real quick, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. It says, a girl spit on an officer while other teenagers threatened to kill police as the several officers worked to quell a brawl at an apartment complex in Ocean County on Friday afternoon, authorities said. 8 juveniles ranging from 14 to 17 years old were arrested on charges including rioting in the melee at the Maple Leaf Apartments in Brick. According to police, officers were called to a fight around 3:45 p.m. and around 6 to 8 people in the argument at the Sawmill Road development. Officers attempted to investigate what transpired when a juvenile female began to walk away, refusing one of the officers' orders to stop. Brick Police spokesman Sergeant Jim Kelly said in a statement, during that encounter, the juvenile turned and spit on the officer. At that point, the officer placed the female under arrest. A crowd of at least a dozen others formed, becoming unruly, police said. 2 teens threatened to kill the officers. The officers attempted to keep the crowd away as they secured the arrestee. The crowd continued yelling, threatening, and taunting the officers, Kelly said. The assailants pushed past the police and one officer was hit, according to the authorities. Backup officers from Brick rushed to the scene, joined by Toms River and Point Pleasant Borough. Police said they made several more arrests as the group kept growling and refused to listen to the commands from the officers. Other charges filed in the incident included aggravated assault, resisting arrest, obstruction, and terroristic threats. The names of the teenagers were not released because of their ages. Well, first of all, I'm trying to think how we want to do this first. Well, I think this is a sign of times. You know, the young adults of America, you know, they're living in an information time. They've got YouTube, Facebook, 24-hour news, what have you. But police are, these teenagers, these young Americans, they are seeing what's going on, and they have, I want to say they may have a very strong sense of right and wrong, which is what creates the liberalism stuff here in America, but they have an understanding, a lot better understanding than I did when I was a kid as far as law enforcement, because you never really got the truth. You just got whatever you saw and read in the newspapers, and that's how you formulate an opinion. Now we've got YouTube channels out there, myself and a gazillion others out there, pointing out and demonstrating what the police do to citizens. So you got a situation that happens and the police show up, and I tend to believe that maybe the police were acting a little aggressively, and this is why these young adults started behaving the way they did, because they didn't like what they saw that was happening. You know, when the police give you a report, I take it with a grain of salt. I can't believe everything they tell me. So I want to say that maybe some things are going down. These young adults didn't like what they saw, and they started to push back and voice themselves and express themselves. Now, I want to say this to all you young Americans out there. When you have a problem with the police, do not spit on them. Do not throw rocks at them. Do not threaten them, because that's going to get you arrested. You're going to give them what it is they need to get even with you. The way to deal with them is call them names. Tell them you don't like them. Tell them they're bungholes, they're buttholes, they're a-holes. Call them names. Express yourself, but do not make threats. Do not spit on them. Do not kick them. If they give you an order, if they tell you to do something, say, are you giving me a lawful order? And they say, yes, I am. Then you better pay attention and do what they tell you, because you run the risk of getting arrested. Now, these are teenagers. They're under the age of 18. These arrest things that they're getting, they're nothing. It's going to result in fines and probation. So it doesn't really, it's not going to amount to anything other than just an annoyance and money-making scheme for the courts. So, yeah. Young America is not putting up with the crap with the police, and you know, I'm mixed opinions on this. I mean, I was proud and happy that these young adults stood up to these police if they did in fact see something wrong taking place, but I was disappointed with the aggression that they used towards the police, because threatening them and throwing things at them and spitting on them is not going to work in your best interests. All right, go read the story yourself. Let me know what you think about teenagers in Bricktown rebelling against the police. Now, I want to say something. Now, I'm not familiar with that particular apartment complex, but I am familiar with Bricktown, and I want to say it's not the ghetto. So if some of you people are not in the area here, you're not dealing with ghetto types. You're dealing probably with a lower income white community. That would be the type of folks you'd be dealing with there in Bricktown. All right, people, till next time, it's Gunnison Undercover.